Philadelphia's season is going to be about their existing players living up to their potential. Doug Collins is Mr. Optimistic when it comes to this team, thinks he can turn Andre into a real superstar level player.
Inability to score that has sort of plagued us throughout the season. We have to add some more pieces. We know that. This team will not be the same team next year.
For Philadelphia, a high-risk, high-reward deal in terms of bringing in Andrew Bynum in the final year of his contract. He's coming up an all-star season, but obviously he's had trouble staying healthy over the years. Yeah, pretty significant changes in Philadelphia when you consider their best player, Iguodala, is gone in this deal, and their leading scorer from last season, Lou Williams, they let get away via free agency.
It's been a tough year. We made a huge deal, and we have nobody playing as part of that deal. I mean, that's tough to overcome, right? Sure hope it can't get any worse than this. I said, I want to figure out an exit strategy because it's important for me to go out with dignity because I think I've done a lot of good things for this organization. I guess the thing that stung me most was at the end when it made it look like they didn't want me.
In order to achieve long-term success, there are no shortcuts, which is why I'm very excited to announce that we've hired Sam Hinkie as the Sixers' new president of basketball operations and general manager.
I start with an end in mind and everything. The mantra here has been very clear, which is to compete for championships.
I think all the best teams have been built around great players, and we're going to be particularly focused on that for a while, on finding great players that could lead us forward. I think that's the most important issue. The rest falls by the wayside.
I'm delighted today to be able to introduce Brett Brown as the coach of the Sixers for us. A real passion for player development.
You get excited to be a part of the rebuild. The pain of rebuilding is real. We all will experience it. It isn't something that happens quickly.
Sam Hinkie, the new GM, look, I admire him for saying, I'm not going to just stand pat, I'm not going to just keep, this okay team together, or this bad team together, and try to build it. I'm going to blow it up and start over.
The Philadelphia 76ers select Michael Carter-Williams from Syracuse University.
And what a debut for Michael Carter-Williams. Simply amazing. He had 9 steals, 22 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds.
And the net result of what happened yesterday is we picked up 6 additional second-round picks. So we gave nothing in return. Some of the picks, I think people sort of lump picks all together and say, oh, it's just a second, right? Some of the picks are quite interesting. Some of the picks are quite high in the second. That has real value.
The 76ers have now lost 26 straight games. That's tied for the NBA record with the 2010-11 Cavs after LeBron James skipped town.
With the 3rd pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Joel Embiid from Yaoundé, Cameroon.
They drafted Elfrid Payton and then sent him to Orlando in exchange. They get Dario Saric, who is a highly regarded big man, who will come over a little bit later, and also a future 1st and 2nd round pick.
That future 1st round pick actually belongs to Philly and was given to Orlando in the Andrew Bynum trade. They took it back.
Philadelphia 76ers organization, it has been catastrophic in terms of the direction they've decided to take this franchise. A willingness to tank is shameful.
We talk a lot about process, not outcome, and about trying to consistently take all the best information you can and make consistently good decisions. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, and you should reevaluate them all.
We're constantly out monitoring around the world, all the basketball being played, looking for players who might fit for us. The 15 we start with might not be the 15 we end with.
I mean, you've got a reigning Rookie of the Year here, Michael Carter-Williams. So you've got a cheap player, a good player, for a couple of years, and they trade him away.
That's exactly it. We're in, what, year 3 of their 5-year plan of completely ripping it down and getting a bunch of second-round draft picks and rebuilding. And what do they have to show for it? And we get into the whole tanking thing. These players are not tanking. No. That is an organizational decision.
Remember earlier in the season, Adam Silver tried to get the lottery reform done and it got voted down, and he said he's going to look at it again because of this situation. And the Sixers obviously aren't changing their approach either. They're saying, we're just going to stockpile as many high draft pick assets as we can and then go from there because that's the rules allow us to do that and there's nothing stopping them.
The Philadelphia 76ers select Jahlil Okafor from Duke University.
The Kings and Sixers have finalized the trade. The deal sends last year's number 8 overall pick, Nick Stauskas, to Philadelphia. The Sixers will reportedly also get a protected first-round pick, and the two teams will swap first-rounders in 2016 and 17.
Sarge is staying in Turkey because in 2 years he has no rookie wage scale. And he may never come over.
Sixers Joel Embiid, who was a center drafted in 2014, is now out for the rest of the season. And I'm sorry, and I know everybody's getting offended by this, and I know in the PC world we live in, we can't say things like this, but he is now Greg Oden.
I want people to see this man's face, view it as a mugshot, and treat him with the disgust it deserves because of the way he has literally thrown seasons.
76ers announced the hiring of Jerry Colangelo as a special advisor. Sources telling ESPN.com that the move was lobbied by the league office.
Well, I love the move from the perspective that Jerry Colangelo is a great basketball mind. He's a good man. He's great for the game of basketball, and the fact that the Philadelphia 76ers have brought him on board is literally the only good move they have made in about 4 years.
This is really about changes within the organization, and specifically the possibility that very soon they're going to be adding Brian Colangelo, the son of Jerry Colangelo, who would be coming in probably at a level above Hinkie as well, pushing him down to number 3 in the front office.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sam Hinkie! Trust the process! Trust the process!
What Hinkie saw was the reason you tank for years on end, which you lamented, Stephen A., is because to find generational talents, it's not just having a couple ping pong balls in one draft. The guy might not be there in that draft, or your number might not come up in that draft. It's to have as many ping pong balls as possible in as many consecutive drafts as possible so that you're likely to find a generational talent.
Nothing was more disgraceful than Sam Hinkie's performance as an executive. But the only thing close to that, to being that disgraceful, was the city of Philadelphia, because this passionate city should be ashamed of itself even tolerating Sam Hinkie this long. The man needed to go. He didn't go out there and get any marquee guys. He didn't go out there and recruit.
With the first pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ben Simmons from Melbourne, Australia, and Louisiana State University.
The last couple years. So it's just a breath of fresh air that they have some NBA talent on the floor like Embiid. trust the process in a nod to Sam Hinkie, who was the general manager here.
Did you ever think, like, maybe people may not like the reference to Sam Hinkie?
I don't care. I also feel that, he also kind of lost his job because missed 2 years. Maybe that might have been a different story if I would have played.
By the way, my biggest loser, Max, it's the Philadelphia 76ers. This is embarrassing.
It's unreal. Colangelo made such a boneheaded trade last night because they gave up an asset, got nothing back. It was stupid. It was a stupid trade.
And now you've got to look at the decision not to move Jahlil Okafor after it looked like Okafor was a lock to be dealt. In fact, a couple weeks ago, he was kept at home when the team went to Charlotte before the All-Star break because he thought he had a deal. Colangelo did 99% done with Portland.
More injury problems for the Philadelphia 76ers. Rookie big man Joel Embiid is out indefinitely with soreness in his left knee. The team announced this morning.
The 5th pick will be made by the Sacramento Kings.
Okay, this is actually Philadelphia's pick, but they invoked their right to swap with Sacramento. So that means Philly is in the top 3.
But what this tells me is that the Celtics believe there's not a transcendent player. Because let me ask you this, Skip. If there was an Anthony Davis, a LeBron James, a Magic Johnson, or a Shaquille O'Neal in this draft, you see anybody moving down?
With the first pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Markelle Fultz from the University of Washington.
The over-under on the Philadelphia 76ers is 40 games. This team ain't winning 40 games, even in the miserable East. Look at the age of their roster. It's kids.
The shooting mechanics is what I'm interested in. That's a bad-looking free throw right there. And he's messing around with it, and that does not look fluid at all.
Fultz's agent, Raymond Brothers, went public. Fultz had liquid drained from his right shooting shoulder and, quote, literally cannot raise up his arms to shoot the basketball. The team said Fultz will now miss at least the next 3 games due to right shoulder soreness. Except then again, Brian Colangelo also addressed reporters saying, quote, there's no medical reason not to play him.
Brian Colangelo spoke the other day. He said he might play soon or he might not play at all. Brian was supposed to be transparent. He was going to meet with the media whenever they wanted to talk. That really hasn't happened.
This has been a very strange process for Jahlil Okafor. They get Trevor Booker back. Originally thought a first-round pick, then maybe a second-round pick they'd settle for. Now they get a guy in Trevor Booker.
Joel Embiid's been calling me out on social media. The sports radio guys are all clobbering us today. But tip of the cap to them for winning 40 games. They deserve all the praise in the world, and I deserve to be mocked.
Are you sold on the 76ers?
Well, you asked the 76ers. You did not say the process. But let me say this, ladies and gentlemen. The Philadelphia 76ers are for real. Ben Simmons is the truth and a half.
Obviously, what they've done this far, you have to commend them. The process appears to be working. It's just the end result. It's like it ended prematurely. I think, no, it's fine. They got to the second round, Rachel, after not being there at all for the last couple. You have to commend them.
This offseason is very important for the 76ers.
Okay, well, they have that max contract.
They got the space.
Once you read it, what was said, once you hear from guys like Adrian Wojnarowski that a lot of these tweets are things that Colangelo has said publicly or privately in league circles, it is almost, to me, impossible to believe he was not operating these accounts. He was torching Joel Embiid. He torched the head coach at times. He was leaking medical information about players. It's insecurity, and it's the need to get credit for things. Sam Hinkie had become something of a folk hero amongst NBA Twitter and amongst Philadelphia fans and Philadelphia bloggers. And this guy didn't want that. This guy wanted the credit. He wanted it to be known. No. I'm fixing his mistakes.
She acted independently and without my knowledge or consent. Further, the content she shared was filled with inaccuracies and conjecture, which in no way represent my own views or opinions. That is throwing your own wife under the bus.
What a loser. What a loser. I'd be like, do you, homie, have a good one.
We don't think of it that it will necessarily be linear, that every year you will add 5 wins, and after 10 years you will get to 50, right? Like that's not the way we sort of think about the world. We think that it comes in fits and starts, and you have to be prepared to put yourself in a position that you might be able to take big leaps.
How will you know when you're there?
I will all know. We'll all know.
Because